connection to either permaculture or Tartaria. How about that? Or the four of us. I mean, so the other one is Eddie?
I think so.
He's not talking. Does that mean he's muted?
He's muted. He's muted. So, but I'm sure at some point he will be able to unmute himself. So,
what kind of so you're talking about astrology? Did you say?
Yes, it's talking about all the astrological events that are happening, which are influencing what is happening now, and the whole cycle of the events as they are happening, you know, and the symbolism and the interpretation of the actual formations in the sky, basically.
But you studied astrology for 30 years, so you know too. And I already gave it to Nada and Eddie,
Yeah.
so maybe
Well, I don't practice anymore. I just know things, but
right.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, it's just a Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunction square Mars right now. That's going to be going on till through the end of the year. And but it's a huge conjunction. It's very rare.
Yeah, and it's going to be as such until
till really the first week of January when Mars finally lets go. But there's going to be a huge shift starting the 21st of December, the solstice, when Saturn and Jupiter both move into Aquarius together.
Yeah.
So we'll begin to have a little less.
Well, that should be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, a little less Capricorn, more Aquarian energy.
So yeah, we need to lighten up and step more into the light, I guess, and see the light. That would be a good thing. So so let me ask you, Anne. So what do you know of Tartaria?
Me?
Yeah.
I just know from I just watched that video. I think I watched almost the whole thing. It was what, 3 hours long?
Yeah.
But I got a feeling for it, and a feeling for, because I've been in some of these structures, and I remember it really felt like a machine to me when I was in the Great Pyramid. And it felt like it was something that was going on, you know, that was very interesting anyway. And I was also one time in a place right next to Lake Titicaca. Have you been there?
I haven't. No.
There's a place with a huge wall, and then there's this doorway, or it's just a seat. It's like an arch. It's an arch, right? Which is one of the characteristics. And there's a seat below it, and it's all rock. Okay. And I don't know if they probably chiseled it out. I don't know, but it's in this vast wall, and there's this thing, and there's enough room for one person to sit there. And really the feeling I got as I was sitting there was, if I stay here, who knows where I'm going to be going, because I could go anywhere. That's what it felt like. I could go any timeline, any place.
Stargate.
Stargate. So I didn't want to do that. You know, I was with other people, but it was definitely that kind of experience. That was probably the strongest I've ever had. So, yeah, I know that our environment, how we structure our environment, changes us. Even when my parents, my husband, who was an architect, Colin's father, he was a very inventive guy too, and he did this one building. Oh, he only did one building because then he didn't want to be an architect anymore because he had to deal with clients, right? My parents. Anyway, the building was this light, airy, right next to a river with the water, you know, the positive, what is it, positive or negative ions going by.
Negative ions, yeah.
Double story windows with this living room that was like a theater space. I mean, it was like a theater in the round, right? So you had and so we started to have family cantatas, and we had got very musical and dramatic as a result of the place that we were living. Completely different than the ranch house that we came from. So I'm really aware of how design affects us. And I found that Tartarian film was fascinating. It's made me look at old buildings differently. I'm even looking at our courthouse wondering, you know.
I haven't seen that movie. I would love to. I haven't seen any movie of that.
Well, do you have a connection to Tartaria otherwise?
I don't know. I haven't seen the videos. What I'm saying, how can I see the videos? My question.
I will find it and I will send it your way. And then
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's also, if you just go Google YouTube, or you're going to see a lot of stuff on it.
Yes. Yes. There's a lot.
But
I did that, and I think there's some Tartaria that's not what we're talking about. Okay.
good, well, yeah, but
And that's what I was coming across.
we're talking about the ancient civilization, which went up to not too long ago, according to some people. Anyway, something else about it. There's something else I wanted to say about it. I can't remember. Shoot, that is an awfully long movie, but it's really, just to get the images of all these things moving through you, so that you'll recognize it wherever it is, no matter what culture had it. It still had the arches, it still had the cupolas, it still had the columns, these kind of features that were characteristic, apparently, of this civilization.
Yeah, and they were all built in order to create harmony and basically to harmonize the life force.
Yeah. And raise the frequency to do that. Would you send it to me again too? Because I tried to find it again today to give to somebody else, if you don't mind. God.
Okay, I will make a note of that.
Email. I prefer email. I'm an old-fashioned person.
Okay. All right.
So
look for that. Good. Okay. So, and then permaculture. How do we bring permaculture into this whole game?
Are you connected with permaculture?
Well, I am. I'm doing the gardening in the schools and reviving basically that ancient knowledge or practice.
Yeah, that's right. And you grew up with it, basically.
Exactly.
And then how about you, Sandy?
With permaculture,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not actively involved in any.
But you know what it is? I mean, you know what it is and all?
I get emails from different permaculture places, and I actually get them every day. I don't read them. I'm not practicing. I live at home. And it's a gated community, so having a garden is a big deal. So I'm looking right now to get out in a place where I can do more of that.
Right. I bet you are.
Mm-hmm. So that's what my goal is. Let's put it that way.
Or sometimes to me, it's like I talked to somebody just the other day. She called me wanting to talk to me about the way I'm going through the aging process, which is in an intergenerational community. Whoops. What did I just do?
I don't know.
I somehow got rid of this. Can you see me? Because I can't see you.
Yeah.
Well, that's hilarious. I can't see you. I
okay, so look on the bottom of your computer, or the top of your computer, for the little Zoom camera. Click on that and you'll get it back.
Oh, there it is. Stop video, participant, share, chat, record.
No, it's just, so
I
don't want to stop your video. We won't be able to see you. Can you see us yet?
No.
Okay, so look on
the. It has its white fashion. I don't even mean it, but I touched it and it wiped.
What kind of computer do you have?
It's a MacBook Air.
Okay, look on the bottom, and there should be a Zoom camera, a blue camera.
Yes.
Click on that, and you'll get us back.
Now I know.
All right.
Oh God. Anyway, so this woman lives in downtown Dallas, okay? And she's very oriented towards community, and so she wants to learn how to age in a different way and create community. And and she loves what I'm doing here. And I said, well, how many people are in this? It's a high rise. She said, probably 200 apartments. I said, does it have land around it? Yes, it has a lot of land around it. And it has floors, it has a roof too, she says. And so I say, well, you could gradually just start. How many people, people in the building? Yes, I know people in the building. Mm-hmm. Start talking with them about starting, to grow stuff. Start talking to them about connecting more. And it's like this connection is what we need, especially when we're in places like that, mm-hmm. like a gated community also, where people in our whole American culture is separateness, done so architecturally. Mm-hmm. And city planning wise, the grids that don't follow anything except geometry and not the lay of the land a lot of the times. And so, of course, the flat land helped. The grid was fine on a flat land when you're doing street planning. But anyway, it's just like, yes, certainly the design of things affects us profoundly. It affects us profoundly. The type of thing, the type of space we're in. I was in a house here, a little ranch house. I just took out a bunch of walls and made a flow out of it. Right? So it's obviously a flowing place now. And I can feel the difference totally.
Yeah.
So Tartarian principles are already here, you know, to anybody that's sensitive to their environment, it seems to me, when I think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But some powers that they called on, we don't have anymore. That's, you know,
yeah,
used to probably.
Well, you know, Ross said something interesting the other day about, was it him that said about the square boxes?
yeah.
Yeah. And I always wanted to live in a round house, you know?
Yeah.
I've dreamed about it, and because I think that'd be the best thing for a place in a hurricane, it'll just go around you, you know?
True. Yeah, I lived in a yurt for about 12 years, a 20-foot yurt. It was fabulous. But you don't bounce off walls, but you can spin, you know, if you get out of balance, that's what you do. So it's different than the crash banging in a square, you know, a cube. But but you can still go completely, you know, out. You can still, and the problem well, it's not a problem. It's a wonderful thing. Only a skin separates you from nature, right? It's just a skin. It's not wood or brick, or it's just a skin. And that's wonderful because on the one hand, you can see the moon, you know, you can feel the moon coming up, even when you're not looking out the plexiglass top. The moon, you can feel the light sky at night sometimes, or in the winter when it's light at night because there's snow on the ground, even though it's a dark, dark sky. So all of that becomes very present when you're inside that kind of structure. You're not outside of nature. You're in it.
Before I even heard that, that was always my thing, you know. So obviously it was in me to begin with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, maybe do it, you know?
Well, I plan to.
Oh, good. Good. There's still a yurt community in Jackson Hole where I lived. It's still there.
I don't want to live in a yurt.
Oh, okay. You want to live in a round house.
Yeah. Right. A round structure. Yes.
Yeah.
Or multiple round structures, you know.
Right, right. How about, I like repurposing things. How about like grain bins?
Grain bins are square, aren't they?
Grain bins. No, they're round. Grain bins. Silos, grain silos.
I don't really want multiple stories.
Oh, okay. I get that. Yeah.
I like to have all stories on the ground.
So you want something that's like what diameter?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah. Okay. Because it gets big progressively. I mean, it's like 20 foot is not too much bigger than this bedroom, but 24 feet's huge.
Well, it may have multiple, you know, there's all ways to do it, you know.
True. That's true.
And there even are houses, I think that they're built in Europe, and there was one that's in Canada that moves.
You mean it
moves,
RV kind of?
Oh, no, it moves around like based on the sun because it's in a cold climate.
Excellent. Excellent.
And it was a very large home.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Which was interesting. So the whole thing was round.
Yeah. It was on some kind of a pivot thing or a.
Yes. Yes. Oh. And that was interesting. And then there are those houses that are like pods and then you connect them all.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Round, like each room would be in their own round thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You could do that.
Well, so I don't know.
So how long have you been where you are?
Sunday we got here. I got here. I'm in Pittsburgh right now.
Oh, so you're not living right there?
No.
She's traveling right now.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm. She lives in Florida, not far from me. But
what I meant was, how long have you been living in a gated community?
Oh,
24 years. Too long.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
It's a beautiful place, but there's a million rules.
Yeah.
That's a lot of BS.
Is it a homeowners association or what?
Yeah, but it's just, it's very nice. It's just that I don't want to live I don't want to live in the heat anymore
Mm-hmm.
like that, that hot. And in my opinion, I've been there for 40 years, and the weather is not what it used to be. It used to be, um, 10 months out of the year used to be beautiful. Now you're lucky to get 3 months that's cooled off.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So I'm just, yeah, it's just time for me. I want them to move to the mountains.
Aha.
Where do you live? Ohio or Indiana or someplace where?
In Indiana, though, I spent many years. I'm a Westerner.
Mm-hmm.
This is new for me, but I like it. I like it. It feels like a refuge compared to the giant vistas of the West and the giant winds, and everything's giant out there. Here you got little critters to worry about sometimes, like fleas and ticks,
Oh yeah.
but you don't have bears.
Well, the ticks are everywhere.
Well, there's not much going on, and the Rocky Mountain ticks are big. They're easy to see.
Oh.
They're compared to some of the ones around here, which are tiny. Yeah.
So were you exposed to that Lyme's disease that they usually transmit?
Probably. I don't know. I just take care of my immune system. I mean, I've probably got everything in me. It's just what is allowed to grow. Nothing if you keep it all in balance.
Right.
So, I have a whole different way of thinking than most people on this planet, or most people in this culture have been trained to think, which is a permaculture way of thinking about the body, because it's, and Tartarian, I'm sure, it's all a system. It's all one whole system. It's not, you don't isolate something and say that's the cause of anything that's affecting the whole system. So, yeah, we need permaculture everywhere. And maybe permaculture and Tartaria are the same thing, but I think Tartaria had more. It had something we don't know yet. We don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And has to do with opening up our senses more, I think.
Mm-hmm. And being more in harmony.
Yes. So that we can be more in harmony.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, I hope that we will awaken soon, or sooner than later, to that, and regain a lot of that, I think, which is dormant within us, and has been for such a long time, so that we can then step into that existence of harmony fully. Yeah.
Oh, here's Maria. She's coming in now. That's interesting.
Okay.
Hi, Maria. Maria? Hello?
You have to unmute yourself, Maria. You are muted. So if you unmute yourself, we can hear you. And if you turn on your camera.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. There's only 4 of us here, but you're here, so you're the 4th.
Okay.
So we've been trying to talk about permaculture and Tartaria, though. So did you get a chance to listen to or to watch the movie at all?
No, I've been flat out busy with work, and I just got home a few minutes ago. So
okay.
Yeah.
But you know something about it, right? Or you've heard?
No.
Why don't you talk about it, Nada? Nada.
Yeah. Nada. Yeah. I think what would be probably a good idea is to share that movie again. It is a long movie, but it has a lot of information and about that ancient civilization of Tartaria, which had basically the key or the keys to living in harmony and being harmonious with everything around us. So therefore, the structures that were built, of which we have a lot of them still here on our planet, but we don't see them for what they really are.
And the movie shows a lot of them.
Yes.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
It's like a tour of these structures that were created by this civilization, which makes you look differently at things, which I love,
Yeah. So
What's an example of a few, one or two?
They all have certain features, or not all of them have all features, but it's arches, columns, cupolas. What else? Arches, columns, cupolas, a couple of others. Do you remember? Water. They're usually by water, or they have a water feature in some way.
yeah.
And there's more, but I can't remember. But I mean, you know, those features are in a number of different cultures slightly differently. But
Right.
Or even, you know, the courthouse, your local courthouse is going to have a cupola.
Sure.
And
Churches, the old churches in Europe.
old churches,
They all
yeah.
have cupolas.
Yeah.
And then they have steeples, and steeples are the antennas.
Right.
And
the Parthenon with all its columns. You know.
Yeah. So it is an interesting component. It's a great movie, and it talks about all of that. So I will see to find it and share it, and then you can watch it. It's long. Just prepare yourself. It's a nice long movie.
Yeah, you don't have to watch it all at once. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
Was it one of the links in the email?
Not this one.
Okay.
It was before our previous.
That was the first link you sent.
Yeah. So. Okay. Eddie can't unmute himself. He is an expert on all of this. I think he has watched pretty much.
He can't unmute himself? Oh, that's fine.
I think that he is unmuted, isn't it? Most of the phones are not muted.
Well, he is trying, and he says
no. It says it's not. Yeah, it says it's muted.
Yeah, but I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, he knew a lot about it.
Yes, he does.
So this is not the time to do it, maybe then.
Maybe. I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, this is Saturn.
It is.
It's Saturn. It's Saturn turns today to go direct. Right. Well, it's exactly squaring Mars. So.
Yeah. So in accordance to your astrology, today's day, what does it signify?
Well, just what I said. So it signifies something definitive happening, something that's going to, you know, drop a plumb line into the ground, it seems like to me. And I don't know on what level I'm speaking when I say that. But the, you know, as usual, the push-pull between the forces of repression and the forces of freedom are extremely enhanced during Mars square to Saturn, especially on the day of its exactness, which is the day Saturn turns. So it's almost like karma has come due. And even though it's going to be playing out for the next months because of the whole situation with Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Mars, this is a big day. This is a big day. Yeah, it might be the debate tonight on a political level. Might be Comey hearing tomorrow on a political level. You know, it's certainly something happened with the Flynn hearing, which is very profound, and it isn't done though, which is everybody was hoping it would be, but it isn't. So, you know, on a political level. But on everybody who has planets in the last third of the cardinal sign, so that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, would be affected. All right, what day is your birth?
December 30th.
December 30th. So it's early Capricorn. So you're not as affected then. It's the last third of the sign. You're in the first third.
Oh, okay.
You're like too. But there's probably other things there. I mean, or you know, I mean, it's just your sun. There's all these other planets too.
Yeah.
And then the whole Earth is affected by it. So everybody's affected because and then you've got Neptune, which is in Pisces right now, which is, you know, so the whole the oceanic collective unconscious is stronger than usual. You can feel the coursing fear that's going through the air. You can feel it. You don't even have to see people to feel it. You know, it's just there.
Yeah.
Fear and despair and death and dying and abandonment and abuse and all those things that come when fear is present. So,
there's hopeful things too.
yes, thank God.
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples?
Well, you know, the refrigerators that they're putting around different cities, I think it started in New York, with extra food for people. And they're doing the honor system, and it's working out really well, they say. So
doing what system?
They're putting refrigerators on the street in cities like New York.
Well, how are they powering them?
They ask for cords and somehow to.
So the homeowners will do it. The homeowners do it.
Joint effort. Somebody came up with the idea, and then all these other things came together, and then the food came. It was like just like you're saying about Saturday. It's just like the forces came together to make it work. And then once it worked in New York, it spread to all these different other cities. Yeah. And now LA's doing it, and they're just amazed at
What's it called? What's it called? Refrigerator share? Something like that.
Free. It's like refrigerator free, like free share.
Great. That's a great idea.
Free share or free
share.
Yeah, it's using free with refrigerator.
Okay, great. I'll look it up. Yeah, it went from little libraries, little free libraries. We have one in front of our house too. And then I'm thinking we should get clothes out there too. We should have a separate box for clothes, you know. But there aren't that many people in this neighborhood that need it.
Of what people are going through that then is raised and people taking action. That's what I know the Black Lives Matters, the people standing up against injustices, but for people to organize on their own like that,
that's the key.
I mean, that's
the key.
Powerful.
I agree.
I've been feeling like people are just waiting. Just waiting for this to be over. But when I heard that,
you're in.
Yeah, you can't wait. We got to act. That's the point.
We have to act. This is why people are depressed and anxious, because they're not moving.
Exactly. They're not doing anything. Yeah, they're waiting for somebody to save them.
Yeah. Or waiting for the virus, the vaccination to come. Right. And just come on. This is like a huge time of change right now.
I can hear you. You're on speaker.
Yeah, exactly. Is that Eddie? Has he made it?
Yes, I have connected him because he couldn't unmute himself, so I've called him, so he is on my phone. And you can go ahead, Eddie.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, not well, but we can.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm trying to speak as directly as I can in the phone. One thing about Tartaria, I believe it was maybe the longest standing, of course we could say how long people have been here, beings have been here, but for maybe 7,000 years, it was the most established planetary permaculture. There's a site called Star Cities, and it shows their gardening and farming in many, many countries, and the designs, not just of the architecture, the designs of the farms, even down to the gardens, even to the garden, and how you talk about planetary permaculture, and I mean great details, not just the architecture, how they grew food, what was so special about it. I mean, it's just, the thing is, this is such a big revelation. It's been lost and hidden for so long. Now it's just coming out. It's just in torrents. People are researching this from all over the world. People from Russia and South Africa.
Can you send us a couple of URLs? Can you send us?
You know what? I'll tell you one I like is a lady. I would especially like this lady. I love to talk to this lady. She's in Tucson, which isn't far from one of our friends in Arizona. And her site on this, and you would like her because she's a very outspoken lady, and she's been a very, I think she's a senior citizen. But the website is Hyacinth, like the plant hyacinth.
Okay.
HYACINTH. Hyacinth Research.
Okay.
Hyacinth Research. And what's her name?
Research.
Hold on
I
one
can't
second.
think of her name, but an amazing lady, and she's extremely much a polymath. She just, speaks about many things, So I think you would all really particularly enjoy her, and I'm particularly interested in talking to her because she's in Arizona, not far from two scientist friends, so they're interested too. They're in Flagstaff and in Phoenix. But yeah, what I'm discovering
I'll find out. I'll find out, and I'll get in touch with her. Thank you.
Yeah, there's another lady. She's in Sedona, and it's called Piercing the Veil of Illusion. And I think she's a grandmother, and she's traveled all over the world. And the amount of pictures, videos, and this is the worldwide phenomenon where people in Puerto Rico and Wales and Indiana are digging up pictures that you just can't believe. Cities that actually were self-illuminating over 100 years ago. Real pictures. Of course, we can Photoshop things. I'm aware of that. But when you see all the validation, the cross-validation, this is like a worldwide dig.
So that's the URL for it, Piercing the Veil of Illusion?
Piercing the Veil of Illusion is another one by a lady in Sedona.
Sedona, okay.
And the other lady is in Tucson, but I'm so interested in because I have two genius scientists, and one is creating a light science permaculture community, and he's doing amazing things with his research on plants. And it's I call it Tartaria because it's higher science, higher dimensional science, not conventional mainstream thinking. Tartarian, you might use it as an acronym for anything outside of the box, so to speak. Of course, it was way outside the box because when you look at, do you know that there's a canal in China that's 13,000 miles long?
Yeah.
World. Yeah. I mean, these people, they were so big in stature and lived so long, they had the time to really permaculture this planet. And a lot of things we think are just acts of nature are not. Like the Great Wall of China is small compared to the Grand Canal of China. It's 13,000. I mean, this country is only 3,000 miles long. This is a canal from almost one end to the other, and you can see it. Who in the world could make such a permaculture structure? Because it had to do with transportation, irrigation, farming, working with the weather. These are just projects that are literally they're on a planetary permaculture level. I mean, it's just really, it's extraordinary what I'm learning about it.
Good. Well, I think we should get together when other people have also done. Other people that we're
here. Oh yeah, I'm just giving you all a little crash course.
No, I appreciate that.
Well, one thing I think is amazing is how did we lose all this? Where are those people? Well, I could address that, but maybe I shouldn't because of what you were just remarking on. But anyway, there's a lot to it. But to me, the greatest value is we can use these things now when we need them the most, and how they actually did a lot of these things is all coming forth, slowly. It's one thing to discover it, but how they did it, that's another level of uncovering, what's been lost,
Yeah.
I can tell you something for you that I think is extremely relevant. Pyramids were all over the place, all over the world. I mean, there's 100 pyramids along the Mississippi Valley.
Right.
People don't think of that because they're truncated. They're level on the top.
I've seen a lot of them here.
Yeah. However, there's something for gardening I think you'd find amazing. The Russians studied pyramids for 50 years. And they discovered a pyramid with a very steep ratio. If you look at your $1 bill, that's the one that they decided to study, because the effect on plants is so off the chart, incredibly good. Okay. You cannot believe. I mean, if you're a permaculture person, they found rabbits were extremely. I mean, it's just everything that's a plant or any organism with this particular ratio of pyramids, and the Russians studied this for 50 years, and you can make one for probably
right.
$20 and treat seeds and water and experiment. But I'm trying to think of the best website. Stargate Pyramids.
Okay, I'll do that too.
He's actually a chap who's in Pennsylvania and was on our last call. And he's a real designer, a mathematician. He's writing a book on this. But what the Russians did with these pyramids for plants was they had plants show up that hadn't been seen for 200,000 years, since the last ice age, that were dormant in the soil. This rare flower started to bloom. I mean, they really they brought the heavens down to this place in Russia.
I'll pursue it, my dear. I'll pursue it.
Oh, yeah, well, it's all there.
But I don't think we should spend more time on this call with that, because I'm on it. I'm on it. Yeah, I'd like to go eat, frankly. That's how I'm feeling. So what do you think, kids?
So basically what we will do, what I can do, find these links, right, to these different subjects. And then everybody can go and explore and educate themselves on this Tartaria world and discoveries and histories.
Find the links for the ones that have to do with farming too, because I could probably get more permaculture people interested. But we've got to get this what it needs to be. We haven't gotten it yet to be what it needs to be.
No, I can give you one, and it's really rock'em sock'em, because you see all the lab study on the agriculture from scientists from all over the world. And if you just look up Dr. Golod, G-O-L-O-D.
Golog.
G-O-L-O-D. G-O-L-O-D.
Golod, okay.
Golod.
Yeah.
Golod.
Yeah.
Golod,
yeah, Golod. If you just look up him and pyramids and agriculture, you'll just be, I mean, it's just extraordinary.
I will. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So until we've gelled, we haven't managed to gel yet. And that's cool.
Well, we're planting seeds. We're planting seeds here, there, or collecting seeds.
We don't know what kind of seed it is yet, is the thing, I think.
Yes,
in
that's
terms
right.
of what we're doing together.
It might help. It might help if you bring some of your permaculture people.
Yes, I said I might be able to do that, but I have a very full life, and this is on the outskirts of my life. You have to recognize that. So it's not in the center. So, but it will be feeding my life. On the other hand, the whole thing will feed the blog, will feed the people I know, will feed this place that we're living, will feed the town that I'm living in. I mean, everything's always feeding everything else, right? I mean, that's part of permaculture. That's part of Tartaria, I'm sure. All food is waste. All waste is food. There's no waste, really. And so it's just to find out how things are interconnected and how they need to be interconnected going forth, for me, for you, for everyone, and then what are the interconnections that we want that are important, given what's going down, the life force coming up so strongly and reaching such resistance. And then all this, turbulence also. And yet, as Maria was saying, just these wonderful things happening too, which is so fabulous when Jupiter actually goes yes to Pluto's life force, right? And then Saturn just organizes around it. So it doesn't try to impose on it. And that's the thing. We can't impose a structure on this. And there's a part of me that loves to do that. I got to get rid of it.
Channel it into direction, into a different direction.
Just feel the feeling of it first. Get it so that it's gelled, and it isn't gelled yet, and that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. This is it's like Saturn says, get real. Saturn says, get real with what is, and then go forward. But meanwhile, let's get more under our belts before.
Okay, so let's do that, and then when would we want to reconnect?
I don't know. Let's think about it. And also, I would say, when you send these things out to people, how about sending it to all the people that you thought were interested too, and say what's going on? I could even write a little paragraph on that, or the two of us could do it together about, you know, it hasn't gelled yet. We're not sure what it is, but we'd really like to do it still. Okay. And last time we had fewer, this time we have fewer people than last time. Why was that? We don't know. But we're just real with what is.
Yeah.
But there is a seed here.
Maybe put in order of importance the things to watch or to read, just so that when there's the next meeting, that those things are focused on, so everybody has everything.
I agree. So that they form the background of what we're doing, you know, the language that we're using, depending on what the experience has been that we all have in common, which is this research. Yeah. So that's going to be, and then we all bring our own, like you brought that story today. That was fabulous. There's the wonderful thing that's happening. So if we pay attention to those, that's, I think, part of what the seed's about, is paying attention to what we want to bring in. Right? Focus there, and that's what happens then. But the focus has to be very strong. It has to be strong within this group too. So yeah, let's just keep on, and let's think about it when we want to meet again. But meanwhile, send out the thing to everyone.
Yeah, so let's create like a whole roster of stuff that people can look at, and educate themselves about. Yeah, and
then I will write up a paragraph, and then I'll send it to you to edit, or to change, or whatever you want to do with it.
Whatever. Okay.
And then that will be introducing this roster that we're sending out. For whatever the soil that's around the seed. We are the soil that's around the seed right now. You know, we're not the seed, but we're the soil that's feeding the seed. And we got to
maybe we can sprinkle it a little bit with stories like Maria brought in, right? Yes, so there are these good things that are happening. I've heard of a permaculture community in Broward County here in Florida. They're working with high school kids. And they are utilizing empty lots and you know, just started mulching it and growing stuff. And now they're giving paper bags with little planters and some seeds or something in there to anybody that's interested, you know. So, and we're doing the same thing with our school with little children, you know. We're also working on getting them involved by giving them some tools to start growing something at home.
Absolutely.
You know, so
maybe we could do something where we just have an email contact list that when things happen like that, or we notice something, just jot it and put it on this email list to each other. How about that?
Exactly. And everybody contributes to that. And then, you know,
we begin to see this mosaic of what's happening locally everywhere. Yeah. And then we get together and talk about it with the research we've done also. So it's research into our own communities just by paying attention to what our experience is, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how we find out what's going on locally.
Right.
Because it's going on everywhere. It's going on everywhere.
Yeah. And your story with the archway, or your experience with the archway, where you're sitting in it and you could feel the energy.
Oh, I knew I'd leave if I didn't. It was just palpable. It was like, could go absolutely anywhere.
Yeah. So bringing it home.
It was a portal of some kind that was multidimensional. It was multidimensional and 360. You know, it was,
And Eddie brought in that Stargate. I mean, when I looked, and he shared that with me the other day. And when you look all these different cities that I've been in, because you know I'm from Europe, so I've actually been there. Right. But I didn't know.
Right.
You know? Exactly. Yeah. So
we see differently.
Yeah.
We see differently. So Eddie, one more thing before we're done. Okay, so cupolas, arches, columns, and what else? A couple more. Water. What?
And the spires.
Spires. That's it. That's it.
Heard of inspiration? You know.
Spires. That's right.
The spires are actually the narrow base pyramids. You'll see them on everything from the Mormon Tabernacle, the great cathedrals of the world. They all have this narrow base pyramid as spires. It's a narrow base pyramid. It's the base. it's so narrow. It's a very steep base and a narrow, steep angle. If you look at your $1 bill, it's not the 52-degree ratio. But that darn angle is what makes plants go bananas.
Okay, I got to find out what that angle is. That's great. Okay, I got to go. I'm so hungry. So we've done a lot in this time period. Would you agree? I mean, in terms of foundational thinking, huh?
Yes, I think so. Now we have something to work with and build upon.
Yeah, good. All right.
Right?
Core group.
We have
the seed of the seed. Okay. Great. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you,
evening.
Sandy. Thank you, Eddie.
Bye.
Thank you, and have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.